What's going on, my fly hippie family? It's your boy Izzy. Welcome if you're new. So we have to talk about Stephanie White getting in the presser and actually going off on the Indiana Fever. But it's something about it, man, because although, yeah, I get it. She was talking about the players, and I understand that because she was right. She also need to take a little bit of accountability on her own as well. So we're about to get into it, but before we do that, y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for your boy if you like the content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit the big 31,000. So if you can help me out with that, I highly appreciate it. And don't forget to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this. Let's get it.
Lack of focus, lack of knowing the game plan. How do you summarize kind of what you saw out there?
I was disappointed because I felt like there was a lack of competitive fire. With the exception of about 2 5-minute spurts, our attention to detail was poor. I'm not sure if it's not knowing the game plan as much as, because if it's not knowing the game plan, then that's a whole other conversation, as much as not executing the game plan. Our attention to detail, undisciplined. I felt like our energy and our competitive fire was not there, and that's disappointing.
Why do you think you had some of these inconsistencies when it comes to focus and engagement, things like that?
I'd say discipline more so than focus. I think this is a group that focuses, but you can focus, and then you have to be able to go out and be disciplined enough to execute it, right? I'm not sure. We're as coaches, that's our job to figure it out. Why it is. You've seen it in spurts, you've seen it in moments, you've seen it with certain lineups. So finding those lineups that we've seen it with consistently, and maybe keeping those together. There's always going to be adjustments when you're working people back into the lineup. There's no question about that. But the competitiveness and the attention to detail, and willingness to play with multiple levels of effort. Prime examples when we get defensive stops, but then they get multiple offensive rebounds. That's 1-2. That's competitive fire, and that's unacceptable.
Now, she has more to say, but I want to jump in really fast because, yeah, I agree. All right, the effort was bad. It looked like they didn't know what they were doing half the time. The focus wasn't there. The defense wasn't there. The offense wasn't moving around. It was an overall bad game, all right? Overall bad game. We can call it what it was. I did expect some mishaps to happen. Now that you have Caitlyn back in the lineup, you have to get adjusted. I figured that would happen. But my thing is, Stephanie, you have to take accountability too. All right? I get it. The players were bad. But this is an all-around bomb. All right? This is an all-around failure today. Once you saw that first lineup wasn't working, you should have took Aerie out of the game. You should have switched that whole rotation plan. Now, she explained why she put Aerie in the starting lineup, but it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for me. Of course, I think it was more to alleviate the 94 feet press, right? But there's other ways around that. If that was your main reason, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. As excited as I was to see Caitlyn and Aerie, you forced that new situation way too much this game. Way too much. You should have been getting that in spurts. That's what we should have got of Aerie and Caitlyn until they actually get a rhythm of playing with each other, getting a rhythm of knowing where each other want to be on the floor. But you gave them a full start, both of them, at the same time. It didn't make sense to me. If y'all remember the same thing that happened in the All-Star game last year. Y'all remember when Kelsey Plum was pressuring Caitlyn Clark and you had Aaliyah Boston down there with her? Boston can inbound the ball. Caitlyn gets it. She can dribble it up a little bit, get the defender engaged. She can just dump it to Boston and then start running. Dump it to Boston, whether the big is down, which I don't think they would have had Timmy down. I don't know. I don't think they would have had her guarding. Same thing Angel Reese does. When she gets the ball on the other end of the floor, the opposing teams don't have their bigs pressing her. They don't have their bigs way down there. So if a guard come up and try to guard her, or let's say the point guard who's guarding Caitlyn Clark is trying to guard both of them, it's hot potato. Just pass it to me. Boom, we had the half court. 94 feet press completed. It doesn't take much. There's other ways. But to give up your defensive presence just to mitigate that? Come on, man. To give up your defensive presence, Lexi Hole, somebody who hustles to get rebounds, right? Hustles to get the rebounds. She had like 7 to 8 rebounds. 7 to 8 rebounds, man. We're going to look at the stats. But she was hustling. Somebody like that hustles, plays great defense, and give you a 3-ball. And give you a 3-ball, man. Somebody that does all that for you, you had them on the bench. Now, Aerie, yes, Aerie plays great defense. She plays great defense. And she hustles. And she can shoot a 3 here and there. But fam, she's 5'6". Not only should the players have been paying attention to details, which I agree with, because it was an all-around bad game, right? And I saw the lack of focus, the lack of confidence, shooting the open ones, the ones the defense giving to you. Yeah, I agree. It looked bad. But you also should have paid attention to what you were going against. You had Tiffany Hayes, who is 5'10". You have Kate Martin, who is 6 feet tall. And you have Veronica Burton, who is 5'9". But you go and start a 5'6" and a 5'8" player. That's not paying attention to detail. Now, I'm going to let her say her piece on why she did it. Y'all listen up to this.
Yeah, you had that lineup change, kind of putting Caitlyn in for Lexi instead of Aerie. Just what did you like about Caitlyn and Aerie starting the game together and Lexi coming off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, I like the ability to have 2 primary ball handlers on the floor, particularly with a team that comes aggressively, in the 2-man game. Being able to play off of one another, being able to give the opponent some different looks, and quite frankly, for C specifically, not having to have her play under duress 94 feet the entire time she's on the floor. So there were some things that we liked about it. There were some things that we don't. So we'll continue to work with that.
Look, she can give her different looks. It could turn into something beautiful. I'm excited to see both of them on the floor together because they can create shots for one another. But it didn't happen today. So you should have made the adjustments once the offense looked so stagnant, looked so lost, discoordinated. You should have went ahead and changed that. All right? You should have changed that. Now, I figured they didn't play Dantas because she just got back. I think I stated it in the live where I felt like she might have had jet lag if that was the case. But, yeah, I just feel like starting out this new combo, this new duo who hasn't really had that much time to get into game reps. Game reps are nothing like practice reps. They are nothing like practice reps. You can go down the line in history and you will hear coaches and players say that it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same pace. It's not the same energy. It's not the same effort. It's not the same. There's nothing like game reps. They had none together, and you started them together.
In general, Caitlyn returning to the floor today, a little short of 25 minutes. How did you think she looked out there? And she said it might take a little bit of time for her to get her win back, but nothing, just kind of the normal thing you'd expect at that point.
Yeah, I thought there were periods of time where she really looked good. I was really pleased, especially the first play of the game with, I think she had like 2 or 3 deflections on that first possession defensively. I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I don't worry about Caitlyn getting back into the flow offensively. I worry about, I wouldn't say worry, but I think my biggest concern is when we reintegrate her, how do we continue to keep our ball movement and get the ball going, not just side to side, but baseline to baseline. But I was a little bit concerned, defensively, just lots of movement, lots of lateral movement. I thought she looked good at times, and I think that's just building consistency and building her endurance and all of that. So I was pleased.
Now, honestly, I do feel like if Caitlyn wasn't on restricted minutes, I think they would have won this game. That momentum shift was major. Major. They got all the way back down to 5 after being down by what? 20 plus. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, maybe like 16 points, but yeah, they came all the way back, down by 5. She took her out, and then the lead just exploded once again. So everybody who's saying that this team is better without Caitlyn Clark, just remember that moment. Please remember that moment. All right? Remember that moment. Because if they were better without Caitlyn Clark, that moment would never happen. That's why I'm giving her grace. I'm giving the team grace, because it is going to take some time for Caitlyn to get adjusted here. It's going to take some time, and I still feel like she came back too early. I don't think she has it all together just yet, because she was getting cooked on defense. All right, she had moments where she locked up Caitlyn Chen, right? I'm going to give her some love. You know, Tiffany Hayes is a hard guard, but Caitlyn got cooked. Caitlyn got cooked. And even Aerie was getting cooked by Veronica Burton. Burton's just too big. She was just too big for her, man. Aerie would stay with her, but every time she contests a shot, they're gonna call it a foul. She's smaller. So she was just getting cooked, man. She couldn't handle it. It was too much size. Now, I think if you had Lexi, you know what I'm saying? If you had Lexi in there were times she could have stopped Veronica, but yeah, you had Aerie in. I think the man-on-man game was bad. Everything that could possibly be bad in a game was bad today. All right, and that's just a recipe for disaster. You're not going to win like that. And they were getting tore up on the offensive boards, man. 11 offensive rebounds. They were getting toe up. Toe up, not tore, toe up. All right? They were getting tore up on the boards, man. This adds up. You can't allow that. And it's not like the Valkyries shot amazingly from the floor. They did from the 3, but from the floor they shot 37% and 76% from the free throw. You telling me this is a great game from this team? Now, I'm not taking any credit from them. They did a tremendous job defending the Indiana Fever. So, hey, I give them credit for that. But the fact that they shot 37 from the floor and 76, and they turned the ball over 16 times, this team will probably tell you themselves they didn't play their best today. They'll probably tell you themselves. And that's what I see a lot with the Valkyries. They start off extremely slow, extremely inefficient, and then they start getting hot later on in the game. That's what I see with this team every time we go against them. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But shout out to Timpson. I do want to show some love to Michaela Timpson, the rookie. Man, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks with 10 points. Yeah, she had some moments where she lost her man, forgot what was going on a little bit. But at the same time, man, she was hustling. She showed effort. She showed want to. And even with Aaliyah Boston and the Caitlyn Clark pick and roll, they didn't even do that. Speaking of Boston, man, they collapsed the defense on her every time she got the ball down there. The main thing Boston should have been focusing on doing today, throw it to the open man in the corner, open man at the wing, just moving the ball around. And also, they didn't do well attacking the blitz or the trap. They didn't do a great job attacking the trap. Like, if y'all saw some of the times where Indiana Fever were trying to trap the Valkyries, look how fast they got that ball out of the trap and how the ball started moving around to find the open man. That's what I was saying the Indiana Fever needed to do. Caitlyn struggled with that too. When the trap came, she turned her back to the basket. That's the worst thing you could do. You want to see who's open. As soon as you see that trap coming, just step back, throw it to the first person that's open. And then they're going to find the open man. You just get it out of your hands so they can start scrambling. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about the game. I love y'all. Y'all keep it smooth.